The 6.8-ohm Remington Special Purpose Cartridge is a rifle cartridge that was developed by Remington Arms in collaboration with members of the U.S. Army Marksmanship Unit, United States Special Operations Command to possibly replace the 5.56 NATO cartridge in a short-barreled rifle, SBR/Carbine. Based upon the .30 Remington cartridge, it is midway between the 5.56A. 45mm NATO and 7.62A, 51mm NATO in bore diameter and muzzle energy. It uses a 7.0mm diameter bullet, the same diameter as that used in the venerable .270 Winchester hunting cartridge. Development: the 6.8mm SPC cartridge was designed to address the deficiencies of the terminal performance of the 5.56x 45mm NATO cartridge currently in service with the U.S. Armed Forces. The cartridge was the result of the Enhanced Rifle Cartridge Program. Participating in the program were U.S. Special Operations soldiers, as well as armorers and other technicians from the United States Army Marksmanship Unit. The goal was to create a cartridge that would bridge the gap between 5.56mm and 7.62x 51mm NATO. The program started the design by using a .30 Remington case, which was modified in length to fit into magazines that would be accommodated by the magazine wells of the M16 family of rifles and carbines that are currently in service with the U.S. Armed Forces. In tests, it was determined that a 6.5-ohm caliber projectile had the best accuracy, but a 7-ohm projectile had the best terminal performance. Further tests showed that a 6.8-ohm caliber projectile was the best compromise between the two, providing accuracy, reliability and terminal performance up to 500 meters. The combination of the cartridge case, powder load, and projectile easily outperformed the 7.62x 39mm Soviet cartridge, with the new cartridge proving to be about 61 ams faster. The resulting cartridge was named the 6.8 Remington Special Purpose Cartridge due to the size of its projectiles and the fact that it was based on the .30 Remington case. However, in the 10 years of its existence, it appears to be more of a general-purpose cartridge in hunting, military police and self-home defense. In general, adapting an AR-style rifle to the new cartridge only requires the replacement of the barrel, bolt and magazine of the 5.56mm chambered rifle. But to further streamline and simplify the conversion process, many parts manufacturers sell complete upper receiver assemblies chambered for 6.8 SPC alongside their conversion kits focusing on the key individual parts. While a complete 6.8 SPC assembly is a somewhat more expensive route, the conversion of an existing 5.56mm/.223 rifle to 6.8 SPC using a complete upper assembly takes less than a minute on an AR platform rifle without the need for specialized tools or skills. In contrast, when swapping out the individual component parts, a significant level of gunsmithing experience, special tools, and time are generally required to detach the barrel from the rifle's upper receiver and the gas system, and conversely those same needs are required for the reassembly of the upper receiver with a new 6.8 SPC barrel. Also, there is the issue of having to readjust the sights if a new barrel is placed on an existing upper receiver. The 6.8-ohm Remington SPC was designed to perform better in short-barreled CQB rifles after diminished performance from the 5.56 NATO when the AR-15 was changed from the rifle configuration to the current M4 carbine. The 6.8 SPC delivers 44% more energy than the 5.56-ohm NATO at 100 300 meters. The 6.8-ohm SPC is not the ballistic equal of the 7.62x 51mm NATO cartridge, but it has less recoil, is more controllable in rapid fire, and lighter, allowing operators to carry more ammunition than would otherwise be possible with the larger caliber round. The 6.8-ohm generates around 2,385 AJ of muzzle energy with a 7.5-gram bullet. In comparison, the 5.56x 45mm round generates around 1,796 AJ with a 4.0 AG bullet, giving the 6.8mm a terminal ballistic advantage over the 5.56mm of 588 AJ. One of the enigmatic features of this cartridge is it being designed for a short-barrel carbine-length rifle that the standard rifle length is. The round only gains about 7.6 euro 10.7 ams for every 25 mm of barrel length past the standard 410 mm barrel up to barrel's length around 560 euro 610 mm with no gain loss in accuracy. It also does very well in rifles with less than 410 mm barrels. In recent developments, the performance of the 6.8 SPC has been increased by approximately 61 to 91 ams by the work of one ammunition manufacturer Silver State Armory LLC and a few custom rifle builders using designing the correct chamber and barrel specifications. Also, more recently, LWC, Magpul and Alliant Tech Systems are currently introducing a new AR platform designed for the 6.8 SPC which allows for a proprietary 6.8 Magpul P mags and an overall cartridge length of 5.9 cm. The personal defense weapon known as the 6.8 is SPC II W1 250mm twist and is able to use all current 6.8 SPC factory ammunition. See gold dot below for ATK's part. Muzzle velocity from a 610mm barrel, 7.5 gram full metal jacket, 850 ams, 7.5 gram boat tail hollow point, 850 ams, 7.5 gram Sierra Match King, 850 ams, muzzle velocity from a 410mm barrel, 5.5 gram Barnes TSXA, 940 ams, Silver State Armory Tactical Factory Load. 5.8 gram Spear Gold. 880 ams Federal, ATK, TAC mill load. 6.2 gram Barnes TTSX, 790 ams, Wilson Combat Factory Load, 7.1 gram SCHP. 810 ams, Silver State Armory Combat Factory Load, 7.1 gram Hornady BTHP TAP. 780 ams, Hornady Law Enforcement Tactical Factory Load, 7.1 gram BTHP OTM and Barnes TSX. 790 ams, Wilson Combat Factory Load, 9.1 gram Berger VLD. 732 ams, Silver State Armory Factory Load. Comparison to other military calibers. Typical trajectory information from carbines with drop and velocity calculated at sea level with a 91 meters 0. ATK gold. When the LWC 6.8 was being developed, Alliant Tech Systems was contracted to develop a new 6.8x43 in round for the weapon. Unlike smaller commercial firms, ATK is a large ammunition supplier that delivers products for the U.S. Army, so it had large resources and manufacturing capabilities at its disposal. Commercial cartridges varied in case capacity and thickness, but LWC wanted a thick and durable case for military uses. A 90 AGR load was developed specifically for a high muzzle velocity and low felt recoil from the 6.8's 8.5 in barrel. Effective range would be over 300 AD and the bullet would still have enough energy to penetrate intermediate barriers. 390 grains loads were constructed for testing that included gold. Monolithic hollow point, and FMJ. The gold. Bullet was selected with a .035 in jacket and a bonded core. The propellant was designed for reduced muzzle flash stable performance at temperatures between -29.2 to 125.6 degrees Fahrenheit. Muzzle velocity averaged at a 200 foot per second difference at the required temperature extremes from the 8.5 in barrel. From a 24 in barrel, the round produced a group of 1.56 in at 200 lid. Applications: commercial. For hunters of game larger than varmints, the 6.8 SPC cartridge is a significant improvement over the 5.56 mm-based cartridges currently available in the AR-15 platform. The .223 Rem cartridge falls below 6 mm, which in many counties and states in the USA is specified as the smallest legal caliber to humanely take game such as groundhog, woodchuck, coyote, wild hog, deer, black bear, caribou, and smaller-sized elk. It is gaining popularity particularly among wild hog hunters. By adopting 6.8 SPC, A hunter also gains the ability to use the AR-15 platform for hunting out to 270 370 meters depending on load, chamber specification, and barrel length. Military law enforcement adoption. By late 2004 the 6.8x43 SPC was said to be performing well in the field against enemy combatants in special operations. However, the cartridge was not used by conventional U.S. military personnel. It was not adopted for widespread use due to resistance from officials and the development of the 6.5 mm Grendel, which had better accuracy past 500 meters. The 6.8 SPC was designed for better terminal effectiveness at the shorter ranges of urban combat experienced in Iraq. When fighting in Afghanistan began to intensify, engagements began taking place at greater distances. Experiments suggested that the relatively short 6.8 bullets became ineffective at longer ranges. In 2007, both the U.S. SOCOM and the U.S. Marine Corps decided not to field weapons chambered in 6.8 due to logistical and cost issues. While there are many rumors of evaluations of the cartridge by several major federal and local law enforcement agencies, the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration has allowed individual agents to purchase the M6A2 DDEA, which uses the 6.8 Remington SPC, as an authorized alternative to their duty weapon. In 2010 the Jordanian state-owned arms manufacturer KADDB announced that they would be producing 6.8 rifles and carbines for the Jordanian army. There is also a contract between LWC, Magpul, Alliant Tech Systems and the Saudi Royal Guard for around 36,068 PDWs and undisclosed amount of ATK Federal XD68GD and proprietary Magpul 6.8 PMAGS specifically for the LWC 68. See above under the subsection Development section. Current chamberings. There are currently 4 different chambers for the 6.8 SPC which yield different results. They are the Remington SAAMI submitted specifications. It has a 1.3 ohm freebore, 45° cone angle, 7.1 ohm or Euro freebore. SPC II is current standard chamber used by most barrel manufacturers. It has been said to be very close to the original enhanced rifle cartridge program chamber. It has a 2.9 ohm freebore, 45° cone angle, 7.1 ohm or Euro freebore, 7.84 mmNECK. 6.8x43 DMO has been replaced by 6.8x43/6.8 ARP, both were created by AR Performance. It has a 2.4 ohm or Euro freebore, 45° cone angle, 7.05 ohm dia, and a 7.84 to 7.85 ohm neck. Proprietary, Novesk Mod 1 designed by Novesk Rifleworks LLC. It has been said to have a 2.5 ohm freebore. Proprietary, only the rifles chambered with the newest specified chamber can safely use the higher pressure military tactical and near-max maximum hand-loaded ammunition. Those rifles using the original SAAMI specs should only be used with the standard commercial cartridge pressure. Semi-automatic action. The first major manufacturer to offer a 6.8 ohm Remington SPC chambered version of the AR-15 was Barrett Firearms Company, offering the Barrett M468 and later the REC7. By 2007, most major manufacturers of AR-15 type rifles for the civilian gun market were offering rifles in this caliber. Dedicated AR upper receiver assemblies chambered for the round are produced by a number of smaller firms. Ruger Firearms produces a 6.8 ohm for their Ruger SR556 piston-driven AR-15 variant. The Stag Arms Hunter and Tactical models utilize the newer chamber, SPC II, and specified twist rates to accommodate higher pressure loadings. Microtech Small Arms Research offers their version of the Steer AUG in 6.8. Robinson Armament Company offers the XCRL in 6.8, which can be easily converted between 6.8, 5.56, and 7.62x39. Bushmaster has promised its ACR customers a 6.8 barrel conversion ability since the launch of the ACR, It also announced a 6.8 ACR offering alongside its .223/5.56 initial offering in April 2010, but has yet to deliver a 6.8 Remington SPC ACR to the market. Given the track record of regularly promised, yet undelivered 6.8 offerings for the ACR, a significant number of ACR industry experts, firearms enthusiasts and owners believe Bushmaster will never release 6.8 products for the ACR. Ruger Firearms chambered their Mini 14 Ranch rifle in this round for several years. However, it has been discontinued. Manual action, Remington also makes a bolt-action rifle chambered for 6.8 SPC, a 610mm barrel Model 700. Ruger offers their M77 Hawkeye compact rifle with a 420mm barrel weighing in at 2.7 kilograms. Browning offers their A-Bolt rifle in 6.8 SPC, and Thompson Center offers barrels chambered for 6.8 SPC for the G2 Contender and Encore. See also, 6mm caliber and 7mm caliber Other cartridges of similar size. 6mm SAW similar cartridge developed to approximate both 7.62x51mm and 5.56x45mm cartridges. .280 British similar cartridge developed during the 1940s in the UK. .276 Pedersen similar cartridge developed in 1923 in the US. 6.5x47 Lapua, .300 AAC Blackout, List of firearms, List of individual weapons of the U.S. Armed Forces, List of rifle cartridges, Table of handgun and rifle cartridges, Sectional density, Ballistic coefficient, Notes, Silver State Armory specializes in 6.8 SPC ammunition, 115 grains OTM, and custom brass cases, 6.8 ammunition, 6.8 SPC ammunition, SARmory.com, SilverStateArmory.com. SARmory.com. Retrieved September 15, 2011. A Hornady Manufacturing Compagnie ammunition a rifle choose by caliber 6.8 mm SPCA 6.8 mm space 120 GRSSTA registered trademark. Hornady.com. Retrieved September 15, 2011. A 6.8 space 110 grain Sierra Pro Hunter ammunition, 20 rounds box, SilverStateArmory.com. SARmory.com. Retrieved May 26, 2012. A, not a private endeavor nor fully sanctioned government project, 30 rem. ChuckHawks.com. Retrieved September 15, 2011. A, A.B. John Pike. 5.56 mm cartridges. Globalsecurity.org. Retrieved September 15, 2011. A 6.8 mm SPC cartridge history and development. Hornady's ammunition. The Stag Carbine. Demagodoc.com July 31, 2006. Retrieved September 15, 2011. A, Paul, Gary. The 6.8 mm Remington SPC. Rifleshootermag.com. Retrieved September 15, 2011. A 6.8 mm SPC cartridge history and development. Hornady's ammunition. The Stag Carbine. Demagodoc.com. Retrieved September 15, 2011. A https www.lwci.com sgnlwcsix8pdf dtic.mil. Retrieved September 15, 2011. A http shopwilsoncombat.com products http www.hornady.com or detail OA5D id equals 72 and SID equals 151 and PID equals 110 grains. Hornady BTHP, 2600 FPS, 16 inches barrel Wilson Combat. ShopWilsonCombat.com. Retrieved September 15, 2011. A 6.8 mm SPC article. Demagodoc.com. Retrieved September 15, 2011. A LWCI CSIX8 review, shotgunnews.com, November 9, 2012. Another 7.62 mm bullet for M16s, straightgibbage.com, January 8, 2012. The 6.5A, 40 cartridge, longer reach for the M4 and M16, SADefensejournal.com, March 26, 2014, Dan Lamothe. Quarter pass on Army upgrades to M4. Army Times Publishing Company. Retrieved September 11, 2010. LWC rifles to be licensed produced in Jordan. TheAmblog.com, May 13, 2010. Retrieved September 15, 2011. 6.8 Performance Testing Report 2008. 68forums.com. July 27, 2009. Retrieved September 15, 2011. 2008. 6.8 SPC Performance Test Follow-up Report now posted. 68forums.com. Retrieved September 15, 2011. Information on the 6.8 SPC Mini. Ruger-firearms.com. Retrieved September 15, 2011. Information on the 6.8 Ruger Hawkeye Compact. Ruger.com. Retrieved September 15, 2011. 1. External links. Definitive history of 6.8 SPC. The 6.8 SPC, is it all that? 6.8 SPC FAQ, Remington Ammunition Information, M468 Rifle, Defense Review, Gunblast.com article, Sharper Shooting, Upgrading Ammunition Lethality, First Look, the 6.8mm Remington SPC VI SPC II, updated info and charts and more. 6.8mm SPC cartridge is available. Silver State Armory Ammunition Manufacturer.